where right now it is album swap time. Last week, it was Method Man for me. It was Guns N' Roses for Zay. This week, Old Dirty Bastard for me, and the Return to the 36 Chambers, the dirty version. You know I'm going to love that album title. Zay's got to deal with Hysteria by Def Leppard. This is a gift from my wife, the biggest Def Leppard fan I know, that thought Zay needed to check out Hysteria. So, Zay, who's going first this week?
You go first this time.
I'm going first with Old Dirty Bastard, Return to the 36 Chambers, the dirty version. Oh, my God. I love when somebody is exactly what you think he's going to be. I've heard about Old Dirty Bastard over the years. I've gotten an idea in my head. He hit that bar and then he exceeded it on this album.
Yeah.
That dude was crazy.
He was nuts, and it was a big part of his downfall. You know, he passed away around 2004, 2003-ish, and, you know, him being so crazy, a lot of people say they kind of knew just how wild he lived, just not giving a damn, not caring what anybody thought. You know, RZA, like, he loved Def Jam so much, he was about to turn on Wu-Tang when RZA didn't put him in Def Jam and put Method Man there, because they couldn't take both. Russell Simmons couldn't take both. He's either one or the other.
Okay.
And RZA was like, you know what? I got a deal for you, but you're going to have your masters. You're going to have control of your masters. So when you're gone, your family's going to be able to eat instead of Def Jam having that. So it worked out in the long run.
Yeah, man.
But it just showed, you know, RZA, his genius.
RZA's like on a whole nother level, man. He still continues to impress me, and he's great on this album. Just the way this thing is constructed, the sounds of everything are great. The beginning of Shimmy Shimmy Ya is catchy as hell, and then ODB come, oh baby, I like it, bro. Like that. It's brilliant stuff.
Yeah,
it really is. This is essentially the first track on the album. Kids, there he is. Kids, if you are sensitive to adult themes and language, first of all, you shouldn't be listening to this album at all. But the intro is particularly dirty. It's also wonderful, but it is dirty, dirty.
I never knew how big this song was until I saw Knocked Up, the movie, Judd Apatow and all Seth Rogen. This is the first song at the intro where they're all doing stupid stuff.
I forgot about that.
And they're like smoking bowls in the back of that pool
that's where
that's
this
not even filled and stuff.
You're right.
Jonah Hill and Jason Segel. Yeah, all those guys live in that one house, and this is the song that's playing because Seth Rogen and RZA are really tight, and he's one of the biggest Wu-Tang fans, Seth Rogen is.
See, how did I not remember that? Where would I have heard this ODB song? In a Judd Apatow movie. Of course. Shimmy Shimmy Ya is great. You mentioned Brooklyn Zoo to me the other day.
Yeah.
That's a song you say has lived on way past, like, this is time. This thing was released in 95.
Yeah.
But to this day, the folks in Brooklyn still love Brooklyn Zoo.
If you're from Brooklyn, this is the song. Like, this is your jam. All the rappers that have came from Brooklyn that have made music about that borough in New York.
Yeah.
Brooklyn Zoo, which we just played, that's what sticks out. And yeah, it's just Old Dirty. Just his lyrics, man. Like you say, he's a guy that could be funny like he is, but still have lyrics that keep your attention there is rare. And man, one of my favorite lines in Brooklyn Zoo, he goes, "Introduce, man, F that brother name." Introduce him, man, F that brother name. Obviously, he cusses and stuff. It's just like, this guy, I'm surprised they kept him alive as long as he did.
Yeah, I like the edge to it, just like in the metal world. I like when there's anger. I like the edge, and you can hear also the for lack of a better phrase, just the spit and the slobber and the scream and the teeth and the everything to his rap.
Teeth.
You know, you can just hear everything that he's doing in those songs. And then all the old school references. I got to give him credit for it. The O in Old Dirty Bastard must mean I know a lot of old stuff. at the very beginning, and it's filthy, his version of it, but he references a song, The First Time Ever I Saw Your Face is the name of the original song. And Zay, I looked it up. It's from 1957.
Wow.
Then Roberta Flack does a version of it in 72 that went huge, and maybe that's where ODB connected to the song. I'm just guessing there because multiple people have done it. So there's that reference. The song called Rawhide makes a reference to the television show Rawhide. That was a television show,
for real?
like a Western back in the day. In Snakes, he makes a Bad Bad Leroy Brown reference. That is a Jim Croce-like folk song from back in the day that was huge, massive song. He makes a Joy to the World reference that I barely caught, where he mentions Deep Blue Sea and You and Me, and he changes both lines. I'm like, what is that? And then I figured it. And then the craziest one, in a bonus track, he just starts reciting lines from Martin Lawrence's stand-up from the year before.
Yeah.
This album came out in 95. You so crazy.
You so crazy.
You so crazy. You remember Martin in the full black leather suit, the black leather outfit? That one. And he just starts talking about it. And I'm like, where do I know that? I know that. So all those little references, I give ODB credit for a lot of that. Number 7 on the Billboard 200. This album was number 2 on the hip hop chart at one point, and it was voted the best. It was up for Best Rap Album at the 96 Grammys. I believe I read Naughty by Nature actually won the Grammy that year, but this album was up for it. So I really enjoyed it. I like the raw quality. When he says I like it raw, he's not lying.
Yeah.
Like he lives that out through the whole record. I dug it. The later song I enjoy is Snakes because there's multiple artists on it. And when you have a song that Old Dirty Bastard is on, and then other people rap and he comes back, you know when he shows up.
Yeah, Snakes has Master Killa, Killa Priest, and RZA on it.
They're all great.
Yeah, they're like all, well, RZA, we know he's in it, but
yeah,
Master Killa and Killa Priest are like Wu-Tang affiliates, kind of.
They're Wu-Tang adjacent?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Like they're in the group, but not kind of, yeah.
So I enjoyed it, Zay. Is it okay if I give this album a little higher grade than Method Man?
Yeah.
How about 8.4?
I'm with it.
I went down to 8.1 on Takal. You were okay with that. So I'm
good with that.
I'm going to go 8.4. I think this is an absolutely solid album. And I'll tell you right now, as a music snob, it's hard for me to give a rap album an A sometimes because I think it's such a hard thing to pull off. Yeah. I think a true A-level rap album is rare because the art form is tough to pull off. If you go 10, 12, 15, 17 tracks, and I go back and say, yep, every bit was awesome.
Yeah.
That's hard to do. So I'm going to go 8.4 on Return to the 36 Chambers.
So go back and look at the album cover.
Yes.
That's his, like, food stamp card. That's a real, like, food stamp, New York food stamp.
Are you
card.
serious?
Like, you see it says identification card for food coupons.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, and
I noticed that they had typed in the name of the album, but I didn't notice that.
Yeah, and they were always like, yo, people usually are ashamed that they're on welfare and they need food stamps, but he embraced it. Like in this song, he was like, I'm 26 and I'm still on welfare. I don't care. And that's just the type of guy he is. Like he still lived in the hood even when the guys went out to the suburbs and started making money. He was still in Brooklyn.
That's crazy.
He actually got shot because he was still like in a Brooklyn apartment or project or something like that. And they were like, dude, come on. But that's just dirty. Like he's going to stick to his roots.
And there is crazy in those eyes too.
Yeah, he was a little nuts.
There's crazy in those eyes. So rest in peace to Old Dirty Bastard. Check out that record if you haven't in a while. 95, March of 95 is when that album came out. All right, Zay, my wife has decided you need to check out Hysteria by Def Leppard. What did you think? Oh, there you go.
Get the single dollars out right now. Right damn now. Chad, this might be one of my favorite rock songs ever.
All righty.
I love this song. I've always loved this song. I remember being 15 years old.
Oh, wow.
And my AAU coach, Chris Blevin, shout out to you, Chris. He's a big fan of the Horn, always has been. And we were in his car, and he was like, look, guys, y'all don't know nothing about this music. He's like, I'm gonna put y'all on something that if you played this, women might take their top off. And right when I heard women might take their top off, I was like, huh, what you talking about? And he played this.
Let's pay attention.
And it's always stuck.
It always gets my wife to dance. Usually doesn't get the top to come off, but it always gets her to dance every time.
This is it right here. This is an absolute jam. I really enjoyed the album. You know, doing my history on Def Leppard, so fascinating, the group. Like, the drummer breaks his arm. Not only breaks his arm, loses it.
Yeah.
Loses it. Has to learn how to play again.
Yeah.
They didn't even Pour Some Sugar on Me on the album. It took 3 years to make the whole album. Like $5 million went into it, which is ridiculous, by the way.
Oh yeah,
like in the '80s, $5 million.
Because they were
what?
Because they were trying to. They were coming off of Pyromania, which was extremely successful, and they were trying to get to that level. Some would say they exceeded it, but it took them a while.
Yeah, it took them a little bit too long, but hey, it was a success.
When your drummer gets his arm ripped off, it takes some time.
It takes some time,
right?
It takes some time.
Come on.
The producer Mutt Lang said, you know what? I can't do this. I'm going to dip. Oh, boy, loses his arm. Said, you know what? I'm going to come back. And that might have been one of the greatest decisions in rock history. Them coming back and them making the killer album. I love Woman. Like, this is
women. That's what the shirt is, right? Def Leppard and the Women of Doom. This is the women's shirt. First track. I love Women. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, yeah.
Hair, thighs, skin on skin. Absolutely.
Can't live without them. Wow.
That's it. Yeah. Can't live without them. Of course. God made the land. He made the water.
It's dope. It's a dope song. It's a dope album. I could see why it's historic. I'm a big fan now.
Good.
Like
that's awesome.
I definitely take it over Guns N' Roses as of now.
Okay.
I do need to go back and listen to Appetite for Destruction a couple more times, like I did Def Leppard.
My wife's gonna be real happy that you like it more than Appetite. She's gonna be really happy about that.
But I get it. I get why they had 7 top 100 tracks. Yeah. I get why they were on the Billboard charts for basically 3 straight years.
Dude, this thing how about this? I saw them touring this album twice.
What?
Twice. They came through Dallas. I went and saw them at Reunion in the Round, and then they just kept touring so damn long that, like, the following summer, they came back, and we went, oh, well, let's go see it again.
Such a pretty women.
Come on.
Man. Yeah, this is fire.
Yeah.
This just got me hyped. And, you know, I've always heard Love Bites.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
I've always just randomly heard that song. I feel like I've seen it in like movies and TV or commercials and stuff like that.
The Def Leppard ballad.
And yeah.
Watch out.
Yeah. The only
Love
song,
Bites.
right. The only song with like keyboards on it on the album. Phil, what's his name?
Phil Collins.
Phil Collins said he knew it was a hit when Mum, M-U-M, when Mum cried. When she first heard it.
It made his mom cry.
It made his mom cry.
When you make love, do you look in the mirror?
You sound like you're from London.
Who do you think of? Does he look like me? Huh? Dude, this is a big one live. They still do it live. The girls still love this song.
Yo, I mean, Joe Elliott said it was the hardest song at first for him to perform because it was so emotional. And I guess it was, at the time, different from the rest of the song.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, they didn't have much that was this slow.
Yeah, and they said they had to, like, relearn. Well, they didn't know it would become so big, so they had to, like, learn how to perform it because they didn't think they would.
Yeah, they've done a lot with it over the years. They do these artistic performances where they'll, on the screen behind them, they'll put the lyrics. The lyrics will be, like, drawn while they're singing them. Yeah, this song matters a lot to them. That's an interesting take on there.
Yeah, so very impressed. I love the fact that Pour Some Sugar on Me wasn't as big until the strip club started playing it.
Oh yeah, it became such a monstrous song. The video was big for that song. By the way, here's how big the album was. In the cassette days is when it came out. No cassette would ever have this. The entire first side of that cassette had a video.
What?
It blew our minds. We were like, wait a minute, there's like 6 songs. Yeah. You put 6 videos together? And then the second side had 2. They just kept going, man. Hysteria was a forever kind of album. That thing's gone platinum Oh, my God. 10, 15 times probably?
Oh, yeah. Makes sense.
Something like that.
I love Animal. Animal's a jam.
I'm glad to hear that. My wife's not a big fan of Animal. I always dig Animal. One of my favorite songs live. They still do it. You know, it still gets me. I dig Animal.
Yeah. It's a dope album. 9.2, Chad.
Oh, my God.
9.2.
9.2 on Hysteria. Okay. My wife is going to be thrilled.
Wendy, thank you so much for broadening my horizon.
You went 9.2 on Def Leppard and 7.5 on Appetite. My wife, dude, my wife's going to hug you when she sees you now. Good grief. You might get some more Girl Scout cookies. She may find some under the bed or something. Yeah. My goodness.
Like one-armed drummer.
He's amazing.
Like, he relearned how to play.
Yeah.
How bad do you feel like, okay, guys, I know I'm a big part of the reason why we can't make the album as quick as we would like, and we're wasting a lot of bread.
Yeah.
So I owe it to you guys
it's one of the
to keep going.
It's one of the best stories. In fact, we're late on the break. I'll tell you a couple Rick Allen stories on the other side.
Bet.
I love the Thunder God to death, and he's got a couple great stories that hook on there. Zay digs Hysteria. I dug Old Dirty Bastard. You might like him too. Maybe check out those records.